Welcome to the Love Story with Lisa channel. Today, we're bringing you a brand new story. All you ever wanted was to use me, then fine, I'll help her shine, and I'll make you all regret it. Story introduction. I used to be the innocent girl in an elite private academy, kind, fragile, poor. The rich heiress, Shine, had a fiancé, an admirer, and a best friend, and every single one of them shared an ambiguous, unspoken connection with me. But I understood the truth very clearly. They were only using me to provoke Vivian, using me to force her down from her pedestal, to strip away her noble crown, to make her fall, and become someone who had to depend on them, just like I did. That was the beginning. Now, let me tell you the story. I never expected to run into Shine under circumstances like this. She was playing a supporting role on a film set, and had just been slapped by the female lead. As for me, I had just been betrayed by the top star I personally groomed into fame. Not many people could remain in the memory of a Shine family heiress, but once upon a time, I was the person Vivian hated the most. Back in high school, her fiancé, her admirer, and even her best friend had nearly all maintained ambiguous ties with me. Vivian had just stepped out of the dressing room. The moment she saw me, she froze. Then she quickly turned her face away, hiding the redness on her swollen cheek. Clara Shaw. I let out a soft laugh. Long time no see. Her eyes shifted, openly revealing her displeasure. I'm not here for you. I looked past her. Iris Joe, the female lead who had just slapped her, walked out from another lounge. Miss Shine, I'm so sorry. I hit too hard just now. It was only acting. Please don't take it to heart. Vivian clenched her teeth, forcing a smile. It's fine. How surprising. Since when had a spoiled heiress learned to endure like this? The smile hadn't yet faded from Iris Joe's lips when she noticed me standing in the corner. Ciao, don't call me that. My voice turned cold. Call me Sister Clara. I stepped forward, and slapped her across the face. The room went silent. Iris was stunned. Vivian was equally shocked. Leave the set, I said flatly. Vivian looked at me with faint disbelief. Don't tell me you did that to help me. What do you think? I rolled my eyes. Aren't you afraid she'll post this online? If she dares, I replied calmly, every scandal she's ever tried to bury will flood the internet tonight. After all, I used to be her manager, and I still held more than a few things that could destroy her. Vivian shot me a sideways glance. You're really something. Back in high school, staying by Adrian Lou's side, pretending to be pure and innocent like that. You said it yourself, I replied coolly. It was pretending. Back then, in that prestigious academy, Vivian Shine was the proudest rose of them all. She was the Shine family's precious daughter, the campus belle. Beautiful, noble, untouchable, and I was just a poor scholarship student admitted through special recruitment. Compared to her, I was nothing more than a tiny wild chrysanthemum blooming by the roadside, plain, forgettable, yet somehow, that little wild flower stood out inside a school filled with privilege. Adrian Lou was a gentle, modest young man. He was also Vivian's fiancé. But because of me, they argued countless times. Their relationship was at its most strained during an English competition in our junior year. Vivian won first place. I came in second. It was only natural. English had always been my weakest subject. While our classmates surrounded Vivian with congratulations, Adrian looked anything but pleased. Vivian, Clara really needed that prize money. Why did you have to compete with her for the ranking? Vivian had prepared for that competition for months. She wanted first place, and she wanted Adrian's attention. Perhaps she believed Adrian cared about me only because I was the top student in class. What does Clara needing money have to do with me? Vivian snapped. I worked hard for this. That prize was mine. Adrian's face fell in disappointment. Selfish, he muttered. Vivian exploded. Adrian. I won first place and you're not happy for me? You're blaming me because of someone else? I gently tugged on Adrian's sleeve. It's okay, I said softly. It's my fault for not being as good as Miss Shen. She's excellent. I'm really fine. Second prize still came with 5,000 yuan, enough to cover my living expenses for quite some time. First prize was 10,000 yuan, a little more. As a specially admitted student, I was exempt from tuition and miscellaneous fees. I only needed to earn money for daily expenses, seeing me lower my head obediently. Adrian's voice softened. She grew up privileged, always standing above others. Clara, in my eyes, you're far stronger than her. You rely on your own abilities. Vivian turned sharply toward me, visibly shaken. Clara Shaw. If you need money, I can help you. But I won this position with my own strength. I won't give it to anyone. She removed the watch from her wrist and placed it on my desk. Sell this. You won't need to work part-time anymore. Adrian's expression turned icy. Vivian. Clara isn't like you. Even if you have money, you don't get to humiliate her like that. For the first time, a crack appeared in Vivian's proud expression. She truly liked Adrian. You're taking her side. Aren't you? She demanded. Fine. Then don't talk to me ever again. Her voice choked, and she ran out of the classroom. Adrian Liu wanted to chase after Vivian Shen, but he stopped himself. He liked Vivian, yet he loved his pride even more. Vivian has really been spoiled too much by her family. He muttered, staring at the classroom door. Uneasiness flickered across his face. He regretted arguing with her, but he blamed her more. Why couldn't she just give in to him a little? I gently offered him a way out. I bent down, picked up the watch from the floor, and handed it to him. This belongs to Miss Shen. Please return it to her for me. Adrian was clearly satisfied with my reaction. The smile in his eyes deepened. You've always been simple. Never materialistic. He softly ruffled my hair before turning to go after Vivian. I was poor, but not greedy. If I had really accepted that watch, I would have become the kind of girl who chased money. And the persona I had so carefully built would collapse. And once the persona collapsed, the beautiful image Adrian had of me would disappear too. Around us, the classmates were watching the drama unfold. Most of them were whispering about me. Vivian doesn't even care about that little bit of money. What would it hurt to give it to Clara? She's so cold. But Vivian won first place fairly. Exactly. I think Clara is calculating. Always acting poor. If she wants prize money, she should earn it herself. Why morally pressure someone else? I was used to those whispers, even without Vivian. They had always looked down on me. It wasn't until Adrian returned that the room finally quieted. Reluctantly, he cast a warning glance around the classroom, then turned to comfort me. Don't mind them, Clara. You're the kindest, gentlest girl I've ever met. I smiled and shook my head. I'm fine. It's just a misunderstanding. You're too kind. That's why people bully you. Adrian couldn't change other people's minds, but when he was around, at least they restrained themselves. All the effort I had put into winning his affection had not been wasted. Meeting Adrian had been an accident, and also deliberate. The summer of our sophomore year, I had planned to work part-time at a milk tea shop. Instead, I ran into Adrian suffering from heatstroke. He didn't know me, but I knew him. On one side, a job I was about to be late for; on the other, a wealthy young master who needed help. I made my choice without hesitation. I took him to the hospital. When he woke up, I stayed by his side, caring for him gently. He thanked me. When he asked for my name, I hurriedly stood up. "I'm sorry, I'm going to be late for work." "It's good that you're okay. I have to go." He didn't need to know my name, because he would see me again. When I arrived at the milk tea shop, I was late, and my pay was docked. Later, I deliberately walked past the basketball court while Adrian was playing. He saw me. His face lit up. "You," I smiled brightly. "What a coincidence. I didn't expect we went to the same school." "What's your name?" "Clara Shaw." "I'm Adrian Liu," he said. "I didn't get to properly thank you last time." "It was nothing." "Really?" He insisted on repaying me. He wanted to transfer money. I refused. "I didn't help you for money. If it were anyone else, I would have helped them too." I spoke sincerely. A flicker of displeasure crossed his face. He immediately looked anxious. "I'm sorry. I just wanted to thank you. I didn't mean anything else." From that day on, Adrian and I became friends. Not exactly close friends. He wanted to repay me, but felt that giving money would insult me, so he began giving me gifts instead: expensive bracelets, luxury cosmetics, delicate music boxes. I rejected them all. He didn't understand that girls from my world didn't need luxury goods. Having basic living needs met was enough, and those basic needs I could earn myself. Adrian looked troubled. "You helped me. I just want to repay you." I smiled at him, innocent and harmless. "I understand your kindness. But these things are too valuable. I can't accept them." His world, the world of wealthy young masters, revolved around money and transactions, so he was curious about a girl who didn't love wealth. The premise, of course, was that I truly refused his money. In the following monthly exam, I ranked first in the entire grade. Seeing my name at the very top of the bright red ranking board, I smiled in satisfaction. He would see it. To congratulate me, Adrian gave me a set of stationery. He must have thought about it carefully, assuming I would like it. It was still rather expensive, but rejecting everything forever wouldn't be appropriate either. "How about you treat me to ice cream instead?" I suggested. "You like ice cream?" He looked surprised, as if he had finally discovered one of my preferences: MHM. I like sweet things. Not that I truly loved them, it was just that liking sweets made me seem cuter. After school, Adrian took me to Haagen-Dazs. It was expensive, but compared to jewelry worth tens of thousands, it was nothing. It was my first time eating ice cream like that. My happiness needed no acting. "Adrian, thank you. I've never had ice cream this good. If you like it, I'll treat you again next time." I shook my head. "Wait until I rank first in the entire grade again. Then you can treat me. That way, it means something." "Then you should work hard too," I teased. "If you get good results, I'll treat you." "Deal." He smiled and made the promise with me. From then on, he even began looking forward to his own grades. Adrian's results had always hovered around the top 10 in the grade. First place was never something out of Adrian Liu's reach. On Friday afternoon, I was blocked inside the classroom again. In a school like this, there were always a few students who were rich and powerful, and psychologically twisted. a student like me, with no background and no one to rely on, was the easiest target, but I couldn't leave. The scholarship here was the highest. They didn't bully me on a fixed schedule. Whenever I displeased them, they used their hands. Today, however, I deliberately drew their attention, because Adrian had told me he would come to see me. When they kicked me to the ground, he appeared just in time. He taught that group a lesson and brought me to the infirmary. From that day on, no one dared to bully me again. After the ice cream incident and the bullying incident, Adrian and I truly grew closer. We texted each other like friends. I told him about my fear when I was beaten. I sincerely expressed my gratitude. It perfectly satisfied Adrian's desire to protect someone. I prepared a thank you gift for him, a box of homemade cookies. Whether he liked them or not didn't matter, as long as my sincerity showed. Winning a boy's heart was never easy. They liked outstanding girls, but they didn't want a girl who was too outstanding. He hoped I was smart, but only smart enough, too. Intelligent would become a threat. I ranked first in the entire grade so he could see my excellence. But outside of studying, I had to act naive, almost foolish. Adrian, you're amazing. So that's how you solve it. Wow. This was the first time I realized that well-timed praise, paired with an innocent tone and admiring eyes, didn't feel fake at all. Adrian's vanity was fully satisfied, but I wasn't interested in romantic entanglements. I had my own goal. The city was holding an essay competition. Our school had 5 spots. Normally, opportunities like this would never fall to me, even though I was ranked first in the entire grade. Students at an elite academy were either wealthy or powerful. Their parents competed for their children's achievements. They didn't care about the prize money. They only cared about finding ways for their children to participate in competitions, to build better resumes. The school would select a few students with strong family backgrounds and good grades. Adrian was one of them. I sent him a message: do your best. If you win first place, I'll treat you to ice cream. He replied quickly. Then I really have to work hard. I added, it's a pity I can't participate. Otherwise, I could have fought alongside you. There was a pause before he responded, you're such a good student. Why isn't your name on the list? Didn't you apply? I sent a slightly awkward smile emoji. I applied. Maybe I'm just not good enough yet. I'll work harder next time and join you. How could I not be good enough? I was extremely confident in my grades. The next day, the school announced a revised list. My name was on it. Adrian acted quickly. I happily went to share the news with him. He didn't tell me that he had helped secure my spot, and I pretended not to know. Adrian wasn't the type to contribute silently. He simply didn't want to admit he had used his influence to obtain that spot. After all, he was talented. Of course he relied on ability. In the essay competition, I won first prize. Adrian won second. He came to congratulate me. Clara, you're outstanding as always. I immediately grew cautious. I could be excellent, but I could not surpass him. I sighed softly. I'm only good at studying. Everyone says I'm a bookworm who studies until she becomes silly. His smile deepened. That's not true. I think you're adorable. Really? But thanks to this prize money, I can send some money home. A trace of tenderness flickered in Adrian's eyes. Any discomfort he felt about getting second place disappeared instantly. He would think I needed the money, that I needed first place. From then on, every competition I applied for had a guaranteed spot for me. I never felt guilty, because I deserved it. Although the top 10 students in the grade received scholarships every semester, with varying amounts, it still wasn't enough. I needed more money. I also needed these awards to add more brilliance to my halo. At the beginning of junior year, I won first prize in the provincial physics competition. I received an additional 10 points on the college entrance exam. Adrian transferred into our class. Vivian followed him. At first, Vivian grew slightly close to someone else. Adrian felt jealous. But how could someone like him admit jealousy over a girl? He refused to lower himself to explain to Vivian. He could only become angry. Distance grew between them. Later, the Liu family became busy with a major project. Everyone around us was talking about it. I heard bits and pieces too. Adrian wanted Vivian's help, but things didn't go as he wished. At that time, I became a tool once again. He deliberately grew closer to me to make Vivian feel threatened. He even gave me a gift he had originally prepared for Vivian. I couldn't openly refuse. That would shatter my image. But I couldn't publicly accept it either. That would anger the young master. Neither outcome benefited me, so I quietly returned the gift. Vivian probably never knew about that. Afterward, the proud heiress lowered herself first. They reconciled. But conflict never comes only once. After all, Vivian was not me. She would never yield, and she never needed to. Every time she refused to yield, Adrian Liu would become especially gentle with me. I didn't care that he was using me. Everyone simply wanted something. I never expected that after reuniting with Vivian, we would one day be able to sit calmly together over coffee. Perhaps it was because we shared a common enemy. Iris Zhou, the Shen family's precious heiress, I said lazily, stirring my cup. Why run all the way to Harbor City? I don't remember your family going bankrupt. I had always known Vivian entered the entertainment industry. 3 years after debuting, she was still an 18th-tier actress. I had even deliberately avoided her, afraid that running into each other would be awkward. I assumed she was only playing around. I didn't expect she truly couldn't make it big. When I entered university, I found a way to cancel my engagement with Adrian. After graduation, my family introduced me to another marriage candidate. I refused. My father cut off my cards, stopped all financial support, and forced me to agree. So I entered the entertainment industry to survive. To fight my family to the very end. Vivian's stage name in the industry was Vivian Lee. She concealed her family background. As we walked out of the cafe, someone came to pick her up. It was Ryan Jiang. Of all days to go out without checking the calendar, I had to run into 2 people I didn't want to see. Ryan recognized me too. His expression grew complicated. Long time no see. I smiled and nodded as a greeting. Clara, you've changed a lot. I gave a faint smile. Everyone has to grow up. Vivian looked helpless. Why don't you two catch up? Give me the car keys. I'm heading back. Ryan shot her an annoyed look. What's the rush? I just got here. I have things to do, she said coolly. I'm leaving first. Back in high school, Ryan Jiang had secretly liked Vivian. Judging from the current situation, he still hadn't confessed. In high school, Ryan once sought me out, to vent his anger on Vivian's behalf. Whenever Vivian and Adrian argued, Adrian would deliberately get close to me to provoke her. Vivian knew about it. She was heartbroken. Ryan always saw himself as her best friend. They quarreled often, but their bond was strong. I was a boarding student. On Saturdays, I usually went to the classroom. Ryan, with his dyed blue hair and clothes covered in chains, looked like a delinquent despite being a rich young master. The school cared about its image. They had warned him, but no one could control him. He tore my notebook, shoved me to the ground, and looked at me arrogantly. It's you who made Vivian unhappy. I'm warning you, stay away from Vivian Shen and Adrian Liu from now on. Got it? I understand, I nodded. He hadn't expected me to be so compliant. A country bumpkin will always be a country bumpkin. Someone like you could struggle your whole life and still never reach our starting line. Perhaps because I yielded too easily. He grew bored. After a few more insults, he left. After that, I avoided him. I stopped going to the classroom on weekends. I didn't dare ask Adrian for help. Ryan and Adrian were famously on bad terms. If Adrian interfered, Ryan would only target me more. Yet Ryan found me again. Behind the academic building, he grabbed my collar. Didn't you understand what I said? Do you like Shine? I asked suddenly. He froze. Who likes her? I'm not interested in that princess. I had only guessed. I didn't expect to be right. Anger flashed across his face. He shoved me hard. My back slammed into the wall. Pain shot through me. If you like her, why not pursue her? I said steadily. When she fights with Adrian, isn't that your opportunity? Why hide behind the title of best friend and stay by her side? I'll say it again, I don't like her. Who could stand someone that arrogant? I'm not interested. He raised his fist. I flinched instinctively. Crouching into the corner. Fine, fine. You don't like her. You love her beauty. You just can't stand her pride. You don't want to admit you like Shine. But what if Shine were the one who liked you? Clara, he snapped, I'm telling you, Vivian is my friend. Other than me, no one gets to bully her. It was ironic. He bullied her more than anyone. They fought countless times. But they never truly separated. Because he treated her well. He treated her well because he liked her. He bullied her because he refused to admit it. I have a way to make her chase you, I said bluntly. Ryan stared at me blankly, then burst into mocking laughter. She'd have to be blind to stop obsessing over Adrian. If you're going to lie, at least make it believable. I'm not lying. Women understand women. I have a method. I softened my tone deliberately. I know you're not interested in her. But if your best friend suddenly fell for you, wouldn't that make a great show? Ryan hesitated. Say it. She likes Adrian because she thinks he's better than her. You just need to do better than Adrian. His expression darkened. What part of me is worse than him? You can compete with him, I replied calmly. But being outstanding is one thing. And being the kind of outstanding Shine wants is another. He nodded, half understanding, half confused. First, I said, fix that delinquent look of yours. Do you even know what handsome means? You think Vivian likes this kind of handsome? He muttered, suddenly sounding unsure of himself. Second, Vivian's grades are excellent. That means she likes high-achieving students. You see her as a top student. Adrian is also a top student. So she likes Adrian. I tactfully avoided mentioning that Ryan was practically at the bottom of the rankings. That makes sense, he said slowly, still doubtful. And one more thing. Stop flirting around. You're barely grown and you change girlfriends like you change shirts. Ryan had indeed dated plenty. Girls inside school. Girls outside school. But he was never serious. None of his relationships lasted more than 2 months. I was just playing around, he said defensively. It wasn't serious. That's still not okay. The moment you date someone, you're their boyfriend. Vivian isn't interested in someone else's boyfriend. He slapped his thigh. You're right. Finally, I continued, you need to become a model student. No casually bullying the weak. Adrian would never do that. Ryan scoffed. He's just good at pretending. Then you pretend too. Endure small things to accomplish big plans. If you can't endure little frustrations, you'll ruin everything. I explained patiently, counting points off on my fingers. Vivian and I aren't close. But she has never targeted me. She has her own pride. She doesn't bother with someone like me. When you bully me in her name, it damages her image. If she finds out, she'll definitely be angry. Do you think she'll still care about you then? Ryan's face turned pale with regret. You're not allowed to tell her. I laughed softly. Relax. I'll keep it absolutely secret. Will this really work? Trust me. It definitely will. Of course it wouldn't, but fooling him was enough. Ryan dyed his hair back to black. He dressed neatly in his school uniform. He was delighted, because Vivian had clearly started paying attention to him. In reality, she was only curious why his bright blue hair had suddenly disappeared. Still, it had an effect. Ryan began studying seriously. If he truly became an outstanding student, perhaps he would stop causing trouble for me, provided he could actually become outstanding. I heard he hired several excellent tutors. His grades really did improve, but compared to Adrian, there was still a large gap. Vivian was surprised by his transformation. She began looking at him differently. Ryan was overjoyed. The more Vivian showed even the slightest special attention toward him, the more he came to share it with me. I didn't have the heart to tell him he was overinterpreting everything, truly overthinking it. He even consulted me when buying gifts for Vivian. But one day, when Ryan dragged me out to choose a present, we ran straight into Vivian. She looked at us coldly and sneered. Clara Shaw. Is there anyone beside me you won't try to wedge yourself between? Ryan looked flustered, but quickly resumed his usual tone. Hey, princess. What are you angry about now? Get lost. Vivian turned and walked away in fury. Only then did Ryan start panicking. This is all your fault. She misunderstood. I almost laughed in exasperation. Don't you see? She's starting to care about you. Ryan froze. You're right. She's jealous? You're overthinking it, I corrected inwardly. She simply disliked me. What do I do next? He asked anxiously. Go after her. If you don't, she'll be gone for good. He frowned. If I chase after her now, she'll just get angrier. I deserve that. Vivian believed I had stolen someone by her side. In truth, she had truly misunderstood. I only wanted to use them. After all, I had my own unspoken hardships. Enough, even saying it aloud disgusted me. If there was anyone who had never been fooled by my innocent facade, it was Victor Chen. He was Vivian's true best friend, recently transferred from another school, a real friend, not the so-called brotherhood Ryan claimed. During the New Year's gala, when Vivian and Adrian were hosting together on stage, Victor leaned close to me and whispered, "Look at them. They're such a perfect match." I didn't interfere between them, I said calmly, but you did. That's because Adrian likes stirring trouble. He wants to conquer Vivian. He wants her to bow her head, remove her crown, lower herself. If Adrian was hypocritical and Ryan was self-satisfied, then Victor was calculating. He didn't talk much, but when he looked at me, his gaze was deep, as if he could see through everything. And he did. He despised me, despised my background, despised my schemes even more. He believed I approached Adrian with ulterior motives. He thought I was vain, willing to use any means to climb higher. He believed my innocence and kindness were all fake, that the real me was cunning and manipulative. Truly, I had never met anyone who understood me so clearly. I never claimed to be a good person. If Ryan's early approach had been physical intimidation, then Victor chose psychological warfare. He made me acutely aware of the distance between us. We were born in the clouds, he said coldly. You're an ant crawling in the mud. I've seen plenty of gold diggers like you. Your little tricks don't fool me. He would deliberately tell me stories about Vivian and Adrian. Adrian has liked Vivian since they were children. Childhood sweethearts. He looked at me with open disdain. Who do you think you are? Victor came straight to my part-time job. He took photos of me working, carrying trays, wiping tables, and posted them on the school forum. Do you know how people talk about you? He asked, looking at me with naked contempt. It was true. For a while, there were whispers. Fingers pointing. Curious glances, but attention fades quickly. I truly surrendered. Psychological attacks might work on others. They did nothing to me. Yes, I said lightly. You're right. All of you live high above in the clouds. I'm just an ant. There's a world of difference between us. Adrian Liu and Vivian Shen are a match made in heaven. I even added helpfully, go ahead and announce it in class. Who doesn't already know I'm poor? Victor clearly hadn't expected me to abandon my fragile, innocent image and strike back so bluntly. He snorted. What? Not pretending to be the pure, delicate little white flower anymore? You've already seen through me, I replied calmly. Why should I keep pretending? Now if you'll excuse me, please move. I still have deliveries to make. He only wanted to humiliate me. He wanted to see me ashamed, to see me collapse, to see me shatter, to see me cry miserably. But only people who tangle themselves up in their own pride collapse like that. I have always faced my own ugliness head-on. Vivian Shen's birthday party. She sent invitations to the entire class. I hadn't planned to go. But Victor Chen clearly had no intention of letting me off. Clara Shaw will be coming, right? He asked in front of everyone. I kept my smile fixed in place. Before I could refuse, he cut me off. We're all classmates. Don't tell me you dislike Vivian so much that you won't even attend her birthday. Despicable, I answered with practiced innocence. How could that be? It's just that my gift probably wouldn't be worthy of Miss Shen. After all, everyone knows I'm poor. The corner of Victor's lips lifted, but there was no warmth in his eyes. Don't worry. Vivian doesn't lack gifts. She won't mind. The class looked at me strangely, as if I truly harbored resentment toward Vivian. Even Adrian persuaded me gently. Clara, everyone's going. You should come too. Now how could I refuse? Feign illness at the last minute? Victor seemed to read my mind. You've never been to Vivian's house, have you? I'll arrange a car to pick you up. Taxi fare is quite expensive for you, after all. You're so considerate, Victor, I said with a bright smile. Then when we leave, I'll make sure to send you safely home too. When I arrived at Vivian's house, I finally understood why Victor had insisted I come. They were truly wealthy. I had assumed she lived in a villa. I hadn't expected an entire villa compound. I had only come to show my face, since I was here. Having some of the food wasn't too much, was it? I took a plate of pastries and sat quietly in a corner, shrinking into myself. Though Victor had forced me to come, this time I felt it was the right decision. There was so much here I had never seen before: the grandeur, the extravagance, the way guests interacted, their greetings, their etiquette, even the precise, measured smiles. It opened my eyes. Then Vivian appeared, dressed in an exquisite gown, a crown resting on her head, standing on the elevated platform like a proud queen. I stared at her radiant figure for a long, long time. Suddenly, someone blocked my view. I leaned to the side. He moved and blocked me again. I looked up. Victor Chen, jealous? He asked softly, glancing toward Vivian on the stage. His meaning was obvious. I didn't know what to say. Did he want me to be jealous, or not? Aren't you afraid? I said quietly that if I get jealous enough, I might go mad and drag Vivian down with me. In any case, he replied coldly, jealousy is useless. You will never stand at that height. Which means you were never worthy of Adrian. I was speechless. How many times had I explained? There was nothing between Adrian and me. Talking to Victor was mentally exhausting. I lifted my index finger to my lips and smiled provocatively. Shoo, someone's coming. I need to maintain my image. Let's see how long you can keep pretending, he muttered darkly before walking away. Soft music began to play. Vivian Shen was meant to share the first dance with her fiancé, Adrian Liu, under everyone's gaze. But the man standing at the center of the ballroom suddenly ignored her. He turned and walked straight toward me. Clara, he said warmly, extending his hand. Dance with me. At the sight of his outstretched hand, I felt like a startled deer, blinking up at him helplessly. Adrian. This is Vivian's birthday party. My timid tone carried just the right amount of shyness and unease, and also served as a reminder of who the true protagonist was tonight. Regardless of feelings, stealing the spotlight at someone else's birthday was unforgivable. Seeing me hesitate, he grasped my hand anyway. Clara, don't be afraid. I like sensible girls like you. Not arrogant little princesses. In the distance, Vivian stood frozen, her face pale, her hands trembling slightly, yet she maintained her composure, refusing to lose her poise. Ryan Jiang walked up and patted her shoulder. Forget that brat Adrian. At worst, I'll bow and dance with you myself. Guests began whispering. Their gazes toward me were filled with curiosity and disdain. It was Adrian who dragged me into this humiliation. Could I refuse? No. But I couldn't agree either. More importantly, I didn't know how to dance at all, Adrian. I really don't know how to dance. I'll embarrass you. My eyes brimmed with tears. I must have looked utterly pitiful, and yet Adrian still wouldn't give up. It's all right, he said gently. I'll teach you. Victor stepped forward and grabbed Adrian's arm. Adrian. Today is Vivian's birthday. Don't ruin the mood. As he spoke, he shot me a glare, as if I were the culprit. Unbelievable. Who was it that insisted on dragging me here in the first place? Now I was genuinely frightened, completely at a loss for what to do. At that moment, Vivian Shen stepped onto the stage. I didn't even notice when she had gone up. She picked up the microphone. Thank you all for attending my birthday party. Next, I'll play a piece for everyone, Moonlight. The piano began. All attention shifted to her. The awkward tension from moments ago dissolved instantly. Some guests praised her technique. Some discussed the awards she had won. Others mentioned the prestigious master she had studied under. Only Adrian stood there, staring fixedly at her figure, his jaw clenched tight. He was angry. Anger itself wasn't the problem. What I feared was him taking it out on me. I hurriedly lowered my head and bowed slightly toward him. I'm sorry. I caused you trouble today. I shouldn't have come. Before he could respond, I turned and ran out, leaving behind only my frail, retreating silhouette. I already looked miserable enough. Please don't make things harder for me. Fortunately, Victor hadn't broken his promise. The driver who was supposed to take me back was waiting outside. But just as I got into the car, Victor followed and sat down beside me. I said I'd take you home, he said coolly. I don't go back on my word. Taxi fare is expensive, Clara. Are you satisfied now? He continued coldly. Do you know how important this birthday party was to Vivian? Victor Chen, have you lost your mind? I snapped. I didn't want to come in the first place. You forced me. Don't pin Adrian's behavior on me. I told you to come so you'd understand your place. He replied sharply. Not so you could cause trouble. I let out a cold laugh. Why don't you blame Adrian? Or do you think I'm easier to bully, so you don't dare confront him and instead dump everything on me? Clara, he said darkly, don't push me. Do you believe I could quietly drag you into some remote forest and no one would ever find you? I calmly took out my phone and pressed 3 numbers. He sneered. Your true nature really is disgusting. I smiled faintly. Victor Chen. Do you like me? Mockery flashed in his eyes. You're unbelievably full of yourself. I'm not one of those idiots fooled by you. If you don't like me, I said softly, then could you stop following me around? Ants like us are very busy. We don't have time to play games with rich young masters like you. At last, I sighed, putting on an expression of helpless resignation. Don't worry. I don't like Adrian. And the Liu family wouldn't even look at me. I have no intention of crossing any lines with him. Victor fell silent. For a long moment, he seemed to weigh the truth of my words. When we reached the school gates, he finally spoke in a low voice. Transfer schools. Stay away from Adrian. I reached out and patted his shoulder lightly. Half a year left until graduation. Just endure it. I'm enduring too. Without waiting for his reaction, I got out of the car and walked away. The street-side stall selling spicy rice paper salad was still open. For dinner, I had only eaten a small pastry. I was still a little hungry. The usual, girl? Auntie May asked warmly. Yes, please. You seniors work so hard. Make sure you eat properly. Her son, Leo May, was organizing the remaining ingredients under the dim streetlight. His figure moved busily in the glow, and beside him on a stool lay a thick workbook, the 5-3 practice guide. He was also a student at our school, not in my class, but we had both received subsidies and scholarships before. His family situation was even harder than mine. His father was chronically ill. In this world, most people are simply busy surviving. On the way back to the dormitory, I discovered an extra fried egg tucked inside my rice paper salad. My eyes stung instantly. Most people in this world are preoccupied with making a living. Who has the luxury to dwell on romantic fantasies? Only when you're well-fed and well-clothed do you start thinking about love. Victor Chen truly had too much time on his hands, stuffed with comfort, his mind full of romantic drama. At worst, he would continue his harmless psychological attacks on me, or so I thought. I had underestimated how low he was willing to go. When I saw Linda Zhang and David Su standing inside the school, I almost didn't recognize them. It had been a long time since I'd seen my biological parents. My middle school homeroom teacher had always helped me hide my whereabouts from them. They didn't know which school I attended. Even if they found out, traveling such a long distance wasn't easy. And even if they made it to the city, they wouldn't be able to enter this campus. That was one of the reasons I chose this school. Outside the classroom, Linda slapped me hard across the face. Then collapsed onto the floor wailing, "Ungrateful daughter. Heartless dog. Raising you was a waste." David grabbed my collar and kicked at me. In the chaos, I caught sight of Victor Chen hiding among the onlookers. His eyes were filled with contempt and ridicule. In that instant, I understood everything. He wanted everyone to see my most wretched side. Calmly, I shoved David away and pulled out my phone. "I've already called the police. They'll be here soon. I advise you to leave." "Useless thing!" Linda shrieked. "You're so capable now, aren't you? Getting into a good school, wearing nice clothes, and you don't care whether your parents live or die?" I had underestimated their shamelessness. They had searched for me for 3 years without a single trace, and now they had found me. All the resentment that had been festering for years finally exploded. In the chaos of shouting and struggling, David Sue shoved me. I tumbled down the stairs. Before I lost consciousness, I saw countless pairs of eyes looking at me, some filled with disgust, some with fear, a few with concern, and Victor Chen, his face was stricken with shock, as if he had never expected things to spiral this far. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. The doctor said I had been unconscious for 3 days, a concussion, and a fracture in my right arm. I hadn't expected to see Victor Chen sitting in my hospital room. There was guilt on his face. He looked uncomfortable meeting my eyes. I didn't know they would go that far. Calmly, I began thinking about how to handle this. "This happened because of you," I said evenly. "You're responsible." Even though Linda Zhang and David Sue were the ones who laid hands on me, without Victor, they would never have found me. He stiffened, then nodded, "All right." Hearing that, I quietly let out a breath of relief. If he had refused responsibility, there would have been nothing I could do to him. Then pay my medical expenses. Victor seemed startled that I was already thinking about practical matters the moment I woke up. "Don't worry. I've already covered them. I'll compensate you as well." "And those two?" "They're at the police station. Do you want to settle privately, or?" "I want them in prison until they die," I cut in coldly. "I will do everything I can to ensure they receive the harshest sentence possible." I fell silent for a moment. There was nothing else I could think of demanding right now. "Are you satisfied?" he asked quietly, lowering his head, brows tightly drawn together. "I didn't think it would turn out like this. You just wanted to humiliate me." I finished for him. To let everyone laugh at me. To watch me collapse. Victor's body went rigid. He couldn't refute it. "I endured them for more than 3 years, I continued. "You're impressive, really. Do you know what they plan to do after taking me back?" He looked up sharply. "You're right. I'm not worthy of Adrian. But I'm not so worthless that I should be married off to a 40-year-old man. Am I that terrible?" "Clara." "I didn't think that," he said, but there was uncertainty in his voice. "Victor Chen, you say I'm vain and greedy," I went on steadily. "But have I ever taken your money?" Even standing in front of Adrian, I could say openly that I've never taken a single cent from him. Every living expense I have is earned by my own ability. A flicker of guilt crossed his face. "You just woke up," he said hurriedly. "The doctor said you shouldn't get agitated." I took a slow breath. How long will it take for my arm to recover? 2 months. The doctor said there won't be any lasting damage. I gave a hollow laugh. 2 months. 2 months unable to hold a pen. Do you know how many practice papers I'll miss in 2 months? He hadn't expected that to be what I cared about. I was born in the mud, I said quietly. The college entrance exam is the only rope that can pull me upward. You say I'll use any means to climb higher, so you decided to destroy my exam? Cut off my only path? I didn't. I never thought that. He looked panicked, desperate to clear himself of blame. Victor Chen, I said, my voice trembling slightly, didn't you just want to see me miserable? Congratulations. You succeeded. But remember this clearly, I lose today not because of my parents. I lose because of this arm. I will never feel inferior about my background. Background is determined by heaven. Fate is seized by your own hands. He stared at me without speaking. Get out. The last 2 words were thick with suppressed sobs. After Victor left, the hospital room filled with the sound of quiet crying. I had only meant to provoke his guilt, but as I kept talking, I broke down for real. The truth was, I wasn't strong. I wasn't as unyielding as I imagined. I envied Vivian Shen too. If only I could have been born like her. Victor arranged for a caregiver for me. That genuinely made things much more convenient during my hospital stay. A few classmates came to visit, bringing practice papers and notes. But Adrian didn't. He didn't even send a single message. I had anticipated that. No matter how unwilling I was to admit it. In other people's eyes, those 2 were still my parents. They disgraced me. That meant I was disgraceful. Adrian could have a poor friend. That would only make him appear kind and unpretentious. But he would not have a shameful friend. That would lower his status. When I returned to school, Victor somehow became my desk mate. He said stiffly, "You're like this now. It's inconvenient." I didn't object. Silently, I allowed it. He seemed determined to make amends, to erase the guilt gnawing at him. During class, he fetched books for me. When my hand couldn't move easily, he took notes. He bought meals, filled my water bottle, took out the trash. He even gave my roommates small favors so they would help take care of me in the dorm. I didn't refuse. It was the least he could do. I seized every spare moment to study. If I couldn't write, I read more. Memorized more. If I couldn't solve problems on paper, I worked them through in my mind. When teachers called on me, I spoke while they wrote on the board, every step of the proof, every calculation, precise. Complete, the standard answer. Victor seemed, for the first time, to truly notice my ability. He stared at me in astonishment as I articulated each step clearly, logically, flawlessly, until I finished answering and sat back down. Victor seemed to snap back to himself. "You're really smart," he said, genuine admiration in his voice. I knew that already. Humph. Where does all that confidence come from? He mocked a second later. I lifted my head and glanced at the test paper he had just finished. For question 8, you drew the auxiliary line incorrectly. For question 10, you substituted the wrong trigonometric function. As for question 13, you definitely couldn't solve it. He didn't believe me. He flipped to the answer sheet. A moment later, his expression turned awkward. Trying to recover some dignity, he quickly looked back at question 13 and wrote a large, forceful solution. How do you know I can't solve it? I flipped open my mistake notebook without looking up. That question, most of the class couldn't do it. You're definitely not among the small minority who could. You're looking down on me, he said, displeased. Of course not. I smiled slowly. You just haven't remembered the method yet. Review it and you'll get it. I believe in you. Victor Chen seemed to finally give in. But how do you solve it? I frowned, dissatisfied with his tone. He sighed. May I ask the top-ranked student in our grade, my desk mate, how to solve this problem? A big question like that takes time to explain. Ask someone else. You don't know how to solve it either. Do you? He sneered. If thinking that makes you feel better, then believe it, I said lightly. Clara, he pressed. I put on a helpless expression. How exactly do you expect me to explain it? Use my left hand to draw diagrams for you? He opened his mouth, then finally muttered, forget it. Meanwhile, a classmate came to ask me about a problem. I had a good impression of her, so I explained the principle behind the solution verbally. Victor looked displeased. You can still tutor like that? She asked something simple. Verbal explanation is enough. Really? If you don't believe me, forget it. After my injury, Victor's attitude toward me improved noticeably. He no longer mocked me. Instead, he took rather attentive care of me. I wasn't a picky eater, but whatever dish I reached for more than once, he remembered. The next time, he would buy extra. The dishes I didn't particularly like, I quietly left untouched. Eventually, if he noticed, he would take my tray away. Don't eat this. If you're not full, I'll go buy something else. I ignored him and quietly finished my meal. Being full was enough. I'm not picky. He teased, then you're easy to raise. The physics competition results came out. I ranked first. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like and subscribe to Love Stories with Lisa for more stories. Thank you so much.